Hello everybody and welcome to Football Blast. Now may I start by saying thanks for clicking on the video, it is very appreciative. But before we begin, may I ask you please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I make a new video. Now today what we will be doing is I will be giving who I think is the best player at every Premier League club. Now the comments will be open for discussion, so if you disagree with me, be sure to let me know in the comments below. But anyway, let's crack on with the video. Right, so we start with Man City, and for me, the best player at Man City is Kevin De Bruyne. Now, I don't think anyone can disagree with this because he is absolutely amazing. He runs at Man City midfield, and I think without him, Man City would still be good, but I don't think they would be as good as they are. And Kevin De Bruyne, for me, is probably the best player we are talking about today. Be sure to give your opinions on Kevin De Bruyne in the comments below. Next up, we've got Manchester United, and for me, the best player at Manchester United is Bruno Fernandes. Now, yet again, I don't think anyone can disagree with this because he's just so good. And he runs out Manchester United midfield, and I don't know where Manchester United would be without him. But Bruno, for me, is Manchester United's best player. Next up, we've got Leicester, and for me, their best player is Jamie Vardy. Now, with Iheanacho coming in a bit of form, it's going to be hard for Vardy now to keep his place in the team. But he has been bagging in the goals for ages now, and yeah. But for me, Jamie Vardy is Leicester City's best player. But let me know if you disagree and think it's someone else. Next up, we got West Ham, and for me, their best player is Declan Rice. Now, this season for Rice has been absolutely incredible. He's been captaining the team with Mark Noble not playing. And he has done an amazing job at leading the team, but also playing very well. And he is being linked to big clubs now, so West Ham are going to have a hard job of keeping him. But I think he may want to stay at West Ham because they got a chance of Europa League. Next up, we've got Chelsea, and for me, their best player is N'Golo Kante. Now, I think DM's a very underrated position, and I think Kante is one of the best in the world. N'Golo Kante, though, I absolutely love watching him. I think he's really good, and yeah. Next up, we've got Liverpool, and for me, their best player is Virgil van Dijk. Now, I guess you could say someone like Mo Salah, who's been bagging in the goals this season, but I think Liverpool have definitely missed Virgil van Dijk this season. And I said Van Dijk is a good leader, and he absolutely controls that Liverpool defence, and I said they've been struggling without him. For me, Virgil van Dijk is the best centre-back in the world, so let me think what you think about Virgil van Dijk in the comments. Next up, we've got Tottenham, and for me, their best player is Harry Kane. Whenever he is injured, you can see Tottenham miss him, and yeah, that's how valuable he is to the team. And Harry Kane is also a great captain for England, and I think he's just a great player, really. Right, now may I just say, before I begin with Everton, I think they've been really underrated. They got a load of great players, so I've just had to pick one, and I picked Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, I think you could have gone for many others, Richarlison, James Rodriguez, and so much more, really. But I have gone for DCL because I think he's had a great season this season. If he can keep it up in the coming seasons, Everton have got a great player on their hands. But for me, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is Everton's best player, but I know this one will cause a lot of debate, so let me know in the comments below. Next up, we've got Leeds, and for me, their best player is Calvin Phillips. Now, I think if we're basing on this season, you could pick someone like Rafinha or Bamford. But overall, I think Calvin Phillips is Leeds' best player. This season, he's been called up to the England team, and I think he deserved the call-up. And I think he's been great, really. And Leeds are having a good season, and I think he's quite important in that, really. But Calvin Phillips is definitely one of the most underrated we are talking about today. Next up, we've got Aston Villa, and for me, their best player is Jack Grealish. Now, the past few games when he's been missing, you can see Villa miss him because he's the captain of the team, and he does a great job, and he puts a great shift in every game. And recently, Villa haven't been as good, and it's because of Jack Grealish. For me, this is one of the easiest in the video. But let me know in the comments what you think about Jack Grealish. Next up, we've got Arsenal. For me, their best player is Bukayo Saka. Now, I get why people talk about Aubameyang as their best player, but I think Saka. The only reason I put Saka ahead of Aubameyang is just because I think, obviously, Aubameyang's been in hospital, so best wishes to him. But I think when Aubameyang was playing, I think he was slowly overtaking him. But Saka has got an absolutely incredible future coming up for him, I can already tell. But without Bukayo Saka, I don't know where Arsenal would be. Next up, we've got Wolves, and for me, their best player is Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves, like many of these other players we're talking about today, runs that Wolves team. And I think Ruben Neves, has been linked to some big clubs. And I think he'd do well at a big club. But he's already proven himself at Wolves. And I think Wolves definitely benefit having him in their team. But for me, Ruben Neves is Wolves' best player. But let me know what you think in the comments. Next up, we've got Crystal Palace, and for me, their best player is Wilfried Zaha. Now, Manchester United fans will obviously be gutted they let him go, because look at the player he is to this day. But Wilfried Zaha, for me, is an absolutely quality player. Next up, we've got Southampton, and for me, their best player is James Ward-Prowse. Now, I get why someone would say Danny Ings is their best player, but I've gone for James Ward-Prowse because he's a captain, he does a great job every week, and I enjoy watching him play. His free kicks also are absolutely incredible. He's just an incredible player. And without him, I don't think they'd be able to get chances in for Danny Ings, and I don't think Danny Ings would be the same player. So I think James Ward-Prowse is definitely Southampton's best player. But as I said, I get why people would say Danny Ings. Next up, we've got Burnley, and for me, their best player is Nick Pope. Now, I think without Nick Pope in goal, Burnley wouldn't be as good as they are. I remember that game where he replaced Tom Heaton, and then ever since then he's been absolutely incredible. And Nick Pope's now at the time in his career where if he wants a big move somewhere, it's going to have to happen now. But yeah, Nick Pope, absolutely incredible goalkeeper. Next up, we've got Brighton, and for me their best player is Lewis Dunk. Lewis Dunk is a captain lead legend of Brighton, and he's just really good at defending. And he also gets a goal every now and then. There was no other players I could go for Brighton, and I really enjoy watching Lewis Dunk play. And yeah, so for me, the best player at Brighton is Lewis Dunk. Now, I think this is the most controversial one today, and it is Callum Wilson for Newcastle. Now, I think some of you guys may say St. Maximum, but I have gone for Callum Wilson just because I think some of his goals this season will be pivotal in Newcastle's survival. I think Callum Wilson's a great player, and if Newcastle do go down, I think he deserves a move to a bigger Premier League club. But then at the same time, I get why somebody would say St. Maximum. Next up, we've got Fulham, and for me, their best player is Lookman. This season, he wanted to show Everton why they shouldn't have let him go, and I think he's done that. I think he's had quite a good season, and I think Fulham have got a great player on their hands. And if Fulham do survive, then I think he'll be good next season for them. But for me, though, he is their best player. Next up, we've got West Brom, and for me, their best player is Pereira. This guy can score from anywhere. He can score long shots, he can score free kicks, he can score from anywhere. And I think West Brom massively benefit from having him in their team. But for me, Pereira is West Brom's best player. Finally, we go to Sheffield United, and for me, their best player is Ethan Ampadu. Now, sadly for them, they've only got him on loan this season, and I don't know that he'll want to play Championship football next season. But I think Thomas Tuchel will definitely be excited to have him back, because I think he'll be a good player when he returns to Chelsea. But I think this season for Ethan Ampadu has been a great one. But anyway, guys, that is the video for today. As I said at the start, make sure you like, share and subscribe and turn on my notification bell so you'll be notified every time I make a new video. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.